I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Spiritual community. One day a student came to the master and said, "Oh, my meditation is horrible. I feel so distracted and my legs ache. And I'm constantly falling asleep. It's just horrible." And the master says, "This too shall pass." A week later, the student came back to the master and said, "My meditation is wonderful. I feel so aware, so peaceful, so alive. It's wonderful." And the master said, "This too shall pass." I've been looking for family my whole life. I was born an only child. I got 2 stepbrothers and 3 stepsisters in the process. And in a short time, all of them died but one. They're all gone. I've got 1 stepbrother left. But I feel for me, I've been looking for community wherever I am. I found it in school and in college. I found it in theater. I found it partying with my friends. I found it when I discovered Unity back in 1991. And it changed my life because I discovered a whole different kind of a family, similar to the family that I was born into and raised with, but different in a way. And I think there's something about being in a family of choice, yeah? And we all choose to be part of our spiritual community. So what I'm going to talk about today is what this community has to offer us, how we can contribute to it, and what the blessing of being part of this community of choice is for all of us. There's a Buddhist term for spiritual family, and that is sangha. And at Unity Church of Maui, we are a sangha. A sangha is a spiritual group that comes together with the intention of furthering, advancing, embracing our spiritual growth and realizing that we are here to do that together. And we get to choose how we do that. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 13, Jesus said, and the author wrote, "We are the salt of the earth. But if the salt hath lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?" Now this is Jesus. Imagine Jesus speaking this to his disciples, saying that we are the salt of the earth. Now, if you remember, in those days, salt was like one of the most valuable commodities, right? Because it was used to flavor, and it was also used to help things. They didn't have refrigeration, so it helped them to stay fresh, in a sense. And so Jesus is saying that we are the salt of the earth. You are disciples, are the salt of the earth. You are here to bring the spice and the nourishment and the essence to people on this planet. And that is your gift. You are here to relate that truth, to be that presence, to be love on the earth. You are here to nourish, salt, and preserve the truth. And in Buddhism, there's a very similar thing that Buddha said, the water in the 4 oceans has only one taste, and that is the taste of salt. And what he was talking about was truth. that truth is everywhere in the four oceans, that it is expansive and in everywhere and in everything. And it is your job as part of a sangha to take forth this truth and to live this truth, to make it part of your beingness and to carry it wherever you go. You are part of that one taste. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "We all need love. Without love, we may not be able to survive as individuals and as a planet." You know that if a child doesn't get attention when it's really young, often it will not survive when it's a newborn. Or if it does, it often doesn't fully develop and isn't really able to embrace love. It's a sad thing, but it's true. Thich Nhat Hanh also said, "It is said that the next Buddha will be named Maitreya, the Buddha of love. I believe that the Maitreya might not take the form of an individual, but as a community showing us the way of love and compassion." I love that. Might not be a person, might be a community of people who are carrying forth that love and being the essence of the Buddha. The second coming of the Christ, I don't believe, is about Jesus coming back. Jesus said, "I will return," but I don't think what he meant that he was physically going to return. The birth of the Christ in our consciousness is the awareness of truth. When we discover that the most important thing in our lives to do, to be, is love, that is the birth of an idea in our consciousness. The second coming of the Christ is when we apply that principle to our lives. So we get to be the second coming of the Christ as we live, breathe, and teach and experience the principles of truth in all that we do. That's what I believe Jesus was saying. That, I believe, is the truth. That, I believe, is the whole, I think that the teachings of Jesus got totally misunderstood. It was never about him. He never said, "Put me on a podium." He said, "I am offering you these truths so that you can live well and be happy and be prosperous." He never said, "It's all about me." I can't imagine. What he was saying was, you learn, you practice, you live these principles, and you can do the things that I do. Remember when he said that? You can be the Christ. And that is what we are here to be, to live. And I believe that there is a growing awareness of this truth on our planet. There are more people who are realizing this, and I know that we are a part of a shift that's happening in the consciousness of this planet. We are here to embrace our true selves, to be the presence of the Christ. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "As practitioners, we carry the body of the Buddha in us. When we notice that we have mindfulness and concentration and insight and love, we know that the body of the Buddha is within us." So what does it feel like to have that truth? What does it feel like to be aware of the fact that you carry that presence? What a great joy, yes. And what a powerful opportunity for us to realize that we're on this journey and to say, okay, how can I get there? What can I do to be the perfect expression of my Buddha, of the Christ in all that I do? Well, I'm here to tell you that Unity and Unity Church of Maui is here to support you in this idea, because we are here to embrace our true selves, and our Unity community is here to encourage you, enforce you, embrace you on this journey. When I made this slide, I love the word community to begin with, and I put all the different shapes on the letters for a reason, because Unity accepts everybody. So you might make a note, which one of those are you? We are, thank God, we are one of the spiritual practices that accepts everybody and loves everybody and beholds the Christ in everybody. And I love that. It's one of the things that just went whammo when I first discovered this truth back in the early 1990s. So how does Unity support me? How does Unity support you? First of all, Unity waters and fertilizes our gardens. Unity embraces who we are, the truth that we bring, all that we have. And we're here to give you the spiritual water and the spiritual fertilizer to embrace you and to help you to enfold into all that you are. We are here to water and fertilize you. We're also here to pray. Unity prays with us knowing our truth. And I love that about our teachings. And if you ask me or one of our prayer chaplains or Reverend Gary to pray with you, or anyone in this congregation, we pray with you, not by begging and pleading and demanding of some presence that appears in an illusionary to be out there somewhere, but we know the truth for you. That you have all the wisdom, all the power, all the love, all the healing that you need. You have it all. And we're here, and we know by affirming that with you that it helps you and all of us to embrace that truth and to become that truth. It's a different model of prayer than I've seen anywhere. Yes? Because we know that the presence of God isn't out on a cloud, I believe, but that presence is within us and is living to express itself as you. And you'll know when someone prays affirmatively with you, praying the truth, that part of you goes, woo, yeah, that's it. That's the truth of who I am. And we teach practices that help us to be present. Anybody want to be present? What a great gift it is to live in the richness of the presence. I love this guy sitting and he's drinking a cup of coffee, and he's thinking about drinking a cup of coffee. What a simple concept, and I invite you to embrace it this week. I had a cup of coffee this morning, as I usually do, and usually I'm working and doing it, but this morning I just shut everything off and just sat and really savored my coffee, yeah? And it was the same old coffee, but it tastes like it was the best cup of coffee I've had in a long time, because I was really able to be present with it. And so much in this world, in this culture that we live in, teaches us not to be present in the moment, to be thinking about this or that, or doing our to-do list, or making our plans for the day, or whatever it is, instead of just being present right now, wherever you are. There used to be, I remember having a discussion with some folks years ago, and we were talking about multitasking. Right? And the person that I was talking with was saying, it's so important to multitask. I heard it a lot when I was in sales. Got to be doing this, you got to be doing that, and all this stuff at the same time. And it's like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. Because if you're doing that, you don't enjoy any of it, do you? If you're right here doing this, doing that, thinking about this, thinking about that, it's like this. For me, that just makes me feel anxious and unpeaceful and gets the blood pressure up. I don't want to live like that. Somehow, I don't see Jesus living like that. I don't see Buddha living like that. Yeah? Can you see Jesus sitting on the boat? Hurry up! Get that line in the water. Pull those nets out. Oh, okay, cast your line over there. No, cast it over there. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get this book out and read it to you. I just can't see it happening that way. Can you see Buddha, telling all of the monks, get out there and work, do where they are, do it like this. Don't have a good time, just work hard. So the next thing that Unity supports us in is realizing that I am a work in progress. You too. To acknowledge that we are all working on doing the best that we can and to love each other where we are. So I can talk about me, maybe not about you, but I hear these voices all the time, this little critical voice going off all the time in my mind. Yeah, do this, do that, you're not good enough. If you were thinking, you would have done this and that. It's just to let that go. And to realize for each other, you know what? I can love you. I know that you're a work in progress. And I know you can love me because I'm a work in progress. And we're all doing the best that we can, aren't we? You ever see anybody that just kind of says, I'm just going to live halfway today. I just don't have the energy to give it my all. So I'm going to go halfway. How's that? Would that be good enough? So we are all a work in progress. Thank God for that. And the next thing that we do and the way that we act is with compassion and to teach compassion, to really be there for each other and to love each other and have compassion for each other. Now, as part of this teaching, there are some people that it's really hard to be compassionate with. There are, even in our sangha, even in our spiritual community, there must be difficult people. There just has to be. And that's, you know what? That's okay. Because that's the way it is. Because people that are difficult are here to be our teachers. And that's one of the blessings about being in a spiritual community and a sangha is to know that we are all here to be spiritual teachers for each other. And to embrace the difficult person. Can you imagine a time in your life when a difficult person arises and you're able to be present and to smile and to love them without taking it personally? That is part of our spiritual growth. That's part of why we attract, I believe, our family members to us. Ever have anybody like that in your family? Yeah? Isn't it a great thing? Everything in life is here to teach us how to move to the next level. And when we have difficulty with someone, it's just Spirit saying, take a breath. Isn't this great what you get to be with in this moment? Thich Nhat Hanh said, the best way to improve the quality of the sangha is to improve the quality of your own practice. He goes on to say in something else I read, the same idea, that if you're having problems with your sangha, if you're having problems in your spiritual community, then work on your practice. It's not the time to leave. It's often, I think, what we do. I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm just leaving because I don't have the patience, I don't have the time to deal with those. I was told never to call them idiots. There's a name for that. But, those people are here to teach us a lesson as well. And a sangha and a family and a spiritual community sticks together in the midst of the challenges because that's part of our growth. Charles Fillmore wrote, Unity's co-founder, he said, "The real search for all people is for God. They may think that they're looking for other things, but they must eventually admit that it is God they seek." I love that, because what that means to me is everything that I desire, right? Love, money, car, power, ability to speak, humor, it's all looking for God. Everything that we are about all the time is looking to experience more God in our lives. Isn't that wild? And we think it's all these other things, but the truth of it is, it comes down to really what we're looking for is God. Wayne Muller, the author of How Then Shall We Live and Legacy of the Heart, wrote, "We are called to be strong companions and clear mirrors to one another." Don't you love that? Because that we see in other people is what we know, what we're afraid of, what we don't like, what we love about ourselves. And we see that in others because there's a message in it for us. And if we can just be conscious of, what am I seeing? And really, we think we're looking out here, but the truth of it is, we're looking in here. That which we see is a mirror of ourselves. Woohoo! Isn't that great? Don't you just love that? Especially when it's something beautiful, right? When there is something for us to look at a little deeper, it can be a little disturbing, right? Kind of reminds me of taking your fingernails on a chalkboard, right? So, a sangha practices love and compassion together. And this is really what is needed, I believe, for the 21st century. This is the time on our planet, in our lives, to be, like Gandhi said, the change that we're looking for. To be able to look outside, see what's inside, and change ourselves and embrace more love and forgiveness and compassion so that we can share that with the world. In the same way, a spiritual community that practices love and compassion together is the Christ. In the same way, a sangha that practices love and compassion is the Buddha. And so, what we get to do is to practice these skills, these practices together so that we can take them out into the world because we have the privilege. We have the knowledge. We have the ability to change this world, to change our lives, which is really where it starts. Because when we change what's in here and how we see the world will change. I am a beneficial presence in my community. I share my love, and I am loved. So the student goes back to the master and says, "Master, everyone here is difficult. Everyone gives me a hard time and questions my abilities. They do not trust me. They are horrible to me. I do not feel at home here. The Master says, you can love yourself and them. A week later, the student comes back and says, Master, everyone's so great. They treat me with respect and they honor me and they love my decisions. Oh, I feel at home here. And the Master says, you can love yourself and them. Let's pray together. Taking a deep breath and breathing in. And as you're breathing and relaxing, imagine that you can listen with your spiritual ears. Imagine that you can tune in to your Christ self, into your Buddha self, into your higher self, that place of love at the center of your knowingness. And you might ask that place, what is it that I can be right now? How can I be? How can I serve my spiritual community? How can I serve the world? How can I be a benefit to all humankind? How can I benefit this planet? What must I know or be to embrace the fullness of life? What have I come to this planet to share? I know that I am the presence of Spirit. I know that I am the Christ. I am the Buddha. I am love. I have the power and the ability and the energy, the faith, the peace, the joy to share my gifts with the world. And let's take just a moment to turn within and just listen. We know that these things are to be revealed at the right time and in the right way. Until then, listen. Be present. Have compassion. Love yourself and them. Breathing in and breathing out. As your awareness gently brings your presence into this moment. Feeling free to open your eyes when you are ready.